January 2010. 10 Burmese pythons move through the Everglades with radio transmitters stitched beneath their skin, placed there by researchers hoping to track them for years. A cold front rolls down from the north. Nothing Florida hasn't weathered before. 3 days later, biologists check the signals. 9 of the 10 pythons have gone silent. Not hiding, not hunting, dead. You've probably heard this snake described as unkillable, a perfect predator with no natural enemies, spreading unchecked through the swamp. That story is about to fall apart. And the proof came from the very researchers who set out to track its takeover. Burmese pythons arrived in Florida through the exotic pet trade, and by the time anyone started counting, there was already too much to count. In the parts of the Everglades where pythons took hold, raccoon numbers have fallen 99.3% since 1997. Opossums, 98.9%. Bobcats, 87.5%. Entire regions have effectively lost their marsh rabbits and foxes. On paper, this looks like a total takeover. So in 2013, wildlife biologist Ian Bartosek and the Conservancy of Southwest Florida tried something unusual: surgically implanting radio transmitters into male pythons, then releasing them. During breeding season, a tagged male finds a female. Follow him, and you find her too, and her eggs, before they hatch. Biologists call it the scout snake method. This past season, it led one team to a record 177 pythons and more than 4,100 eggs, the largest single-season haul the program has ever logged. It sounds like a decisive win. It isn't, not quite. Because by some estimates, as little as 1 python in 100 is ever spotted at all. Even the state's biggest public hunt, nearly 1,000 people combing the swamp for 10 days in 2025, pulled in 294 snakes and was still called, by the people who ran it, barely a dent. A record season might just mean researchers are getting better at finding a population that was always this size. The real question was never how many pythons a person could kill. It was how many the Everglades was already killing, quietly, on its own. Go back to that January morning in 2010. One cold snap. 90% of the radio-tracked pythons dead within 3 days. A related study found captive pythons sheltered in outdoor enclosures in north-central Florida fared little better. 7 of 9 died from cold exposure alone. Separate research helps explain why. A single hard freeze is close to a death sentence for this species, since it can't digest a meal below a certain temperature and lacks the instinct to find shelter fast enough. It's a major reason this snake, more than 15 years after warnings it might spread as far as Georgia or Washington, D.C., still hasn't moved much beyond South Florida. But a killing freeze happens once every few years. What's been killing pythons on an ordinary Tuesday is stranger, and it's already living in the swamp with them. In May 2021, researchers lost the signal from a juvenile python's transmitter and went looking for it. They found it inside a Florida cottonmouth, confirmed by X-ray. A year later, a different signal led them to a Florida kingsnake with an unmistakable bulge in its throat. A 1-month-old tracked python swallowed whole. In one USGS study of radio-tagged hatchlings, American alligators alone accounted for 5 confirmed kills. Then, In June 2021, a motion-triggered camera at Big Cypress National Preserve caught something researchers had never documented before. A male bobcat circling an unguarded python nest, returning again and again over 2 days to eat, trample, and haul off the eggs inside. When the mother python returned, biologists watched the first recorded face-off between these two animals. A native predator learning in real time that python eggs are food. None of this was supposed to happen. Florida's native predators had no evolutionary history with this snake. They weren't supposed to recognize it as prey. One bite, one swallowed hatchling, one raided nest at a time. They were learning anyway. Here's the number that changes everything. USGS researchers radio-tracked 28 Burmese python hatchlings from the moment they left the egg, following each one for up to 3 years. Within 6 months, survival had already dropped to just over a third. By 1 year, it was under 30%. By year 3, only 2 of the original 28 were still alive. 2. A loss rate above 90%, inflicted almost entirely by the swamp itself. No human removal program in Florida's history has come close to that kill rate. Not the scout snakes, not the annual hunts, not the bounty programs. Right now, the most effective python control in the Everglades isn't a hunter with a machete. It's a cottonmouth, a kingsnake, an alligator, and a Florida winter. So is the crisis over? No. And this is where the story gets uncomfortable. There's no solid published evidence that Florida's overall python population is actually shrinking. The swamp is enormous, the snake is nearly invisible, and a record removal season might just mean biologists have gotten better at finding animals that were always there. Mammal populations in the hardest hit areas still haven't recovered. And the one force doing the most damage, cold, is the same force climate change is working against. Researchers warn that as hard freezes become rarer, the python's biggest natural check could weaken for good, potentially opening territory north of the Everglades that stayed close to it for decades. The python didn't lose this war. It's losing an extraordinary number of individual battles, against ice, against native jaws, against a landscape that was never as empty as it looked, while still, on balance, holding its ground. And its hardest opponent may not be around forever. This was never really a story about humans versus pythons. It's a story about a predator that assumed it had no equal, dropped into an ecosystem that had spent millions of years quietly building equals of its own. 9 of 10, dead in 3 days, back in 2010.
2 of 28, alive after 3 years
in the seasons
since.
Somewhere in the Everglades tonight, a transmitter is still beeping, leading a biologist not toward another record season, but toward proof that the swamp was never as defenseless as it looked. It didn't need us to win this fight. It's just running out of time to finish it.